GT Garage. My name is Eugene Tordo, and today's video is going to be about reinstalling the ABS module. If you haven't seen the other videos on removing it and the brake lines, I have a playlist. I'll leave a link somewhere during the video. And today's project is to get out there in my freezing ass garage and reinstall this along with whole new brake lines. And by brake lines I mean all the metal lines, if you haven't been following the series on it. Not the hoses that go to the calipers, but all the brake lines. And there are a lot of brake lines in a 90 Corvette. Here, if you can see all that, is close up. A lot of spaghetti. And I actually got two of them out there in the garage already. I have to bring this whole box out there now, unfortunately. It kind of makes for tight space out there, but that's what I'm going to have to do in order to get this installed. So, I'm going to get out there and place all these lines, or start getting the new lines in. I'm about to get the majority of them that go into this ABS unit out of the car, and I could just cut them and just make it easier to taking them out. I still gotta remove all the brackets and stuff, and little brackets that hold the lines in place, and there's a heat shield that has to be removed up front. It goes between the headers and brake lines and all that good stuff. So I gotta get out there, do that, remove them, and then line up all these into this unit and seal it, and then raise it back up into the car and all that good stuff. So let me get out there and do that, and all that good stuff. Okay, I'm out here in the garage. I got the heat going. I think it's like I don't know, 29 degrees outside. It was 29 degrees in here, starting to warm up. It's in the 50 degrees Fahrenheit, if anyone's interested. And one of the things I need to do is start hooking up all the brake lines to the ABS unit. And I have a diaphragm that shows which line goes where, so that's helpful. And I'll try and mimic the old lines that are down here on the floor. But one thing I'm going to do is, even though these are all brand new stainless steel brake lines, I'm going to want to blow them out just in case there's any foreign matter in there. So I'll do that before I install each line. I may even shoot some brake clean in there and then blow it out. Just a tip, because you don't know, because foreign matter could get in here during shipping or during the production process. You just don't know. So that's something you should do if you're putting new brake lines on, or consider doing. Let me show you what I got to do. Okay, hopefully you can see that, but this heat shield needs to come off. And then there's a bunch of little brackets. You might be able to see them down there. I can't really point to them. It's not enough space, but I gotta get under the car to do that. And I know there's a couple more brackets back that way. At some point I'm gonna be removing the master cylinder, because I'm gonna have to re-bench bleed it before I hook these the new lines back up. And of course I need to remove the lines going to the hoses on both front sides. And I'm not sure how difficult the line that crosses over underneath will be to replace, but we'll find out. And same with the rear. I was told that, at least that's what I read on a forum, was that you actually have to remove the differential to get to it. But I'm looking at it, and I don't think so. I might have to drop the rear carrier, tire carrier, which ain't no big deal, to make it easier to access, but we'll see when we get to it. One thing at a time, I guess. So these are all the lines that are coming out that go to the ABS unit. You can see where they were all coupled together before in the past, and right there is where they ran through the little grooves in the ABS, the tray that holds the ABS in. You can see some corrosion there. So I'm going to be gooping that all up and before I put it up in there, and make sure it's all good and sealed. Well, I guess I'll get to it. Okay, this is where I'm at. I got all these off, and I got the heat shield off, and there's more of these under there holding the lines on it. You gotta bend them open and get them off. I'm gonna have to do some corrosion control on that. And you can see this plastic vent line that I replaced the original steel one with. I'm not sure if that got crushed or that's a chemical reaction with the gas, because you do get gas fumes through here and it does build up. I think I must have crushed it with a jack at one time, or a rock hit it. I'm not sure. And that deformed it enough where it's leaking. And where the gas fumes from your tank, this is the vent line, so the gas fumes from the tank would be coming out of here. So I'm glad I'm going to be going back to the steel line on that. And in order to drop all these lines out, let me show you. They're just about ready to drop out. All these lines here, the long running frame reel. And I'll have to get under there, I guess, to show you. One coupler that I have to do. It's a factory coupler, as far as I can tell. Hold on, and I'll get under there. Hopefully you can see that coupler right there. That, as far as I know, is a factory coupler, and I almost guarantee it's corroded on. I need to get that clamp off right here. That's going to be difficult. So I'm going to have to get a wrench this way somehow and get it that way. And screw it off. And the worst case scenario, I'll have to remove this bracket right here. I should be able to get it off without doing that. I might go ahead and cut this line right there, because it'll make it a lot easier. And maybe you can see over here, hopefully, see if I can get some better light, where all those clamps and stuff, the hoses run, and clamps to the frame and so forth. So let me get under there and I'll get that. And like I said, I think I'll just cut that. And let me show you one more thing. If you look this fitting here, you can see where the line twisted, because this nut here, this fitting, is seized to the line. So what I ended up doing was just holding that stationary and spinning this round and round with a wrench, and unscrewing it from this rather than try and break the line. Now I could have just cut the line, like I said, I'm replacing it, but I'm going to do it that way. Preserve the lines just in case, you never know. And anyway, I'm going to get on with the rest of this, I guess. Get that, see if I can get these lines out of there. Okay, I got all the brake lines out that run down the driver's side out, and in order to do that I did have to remove the one frame brace. Not all C4s, the earlier C4s I don't believe came with these frame braces under there, but I had to remove this one on the driver's side. I'm gonna have to drop the one on the passenger side too, and that's in order to get the brake line that crosses over to the passenger side off. One thing I can say is these two bolts right here that go up against, it goes like this. This part bolts to the front, to the cross member. That goes across, and this bolts to the front side of the frame rail. And if it wasn't for the headers, these two bolts would have been a lot easier. Well, only the one bolt right here. That I had to go in there with a regular box wrench, ratchet box wrench, and get off. The others I was able to get off with power tools. So, let me get going more on this. I did have to cut this brake line just to make it easier. This part here is seized on, and a pair of diagonals will not cut these lines unless they're really big. I ended up using my little cutoff tool, air powered cutoff tool, to do that. So I'm going to cut that off there and put it in the vise, put some heat on it, and break all these old lines loose, because this coupler is going to be needed. It's the factory coupler that couples the line that runs back to the ABS to the line that runs all the way over to the right front brake line. So let me get going on that. Alrighty, I got all the lines hooked up to the ABS unit. That was tricky. It's like doing this is sort of like trying to unravel a bowl of spaghetti. That's the best way I could describe it. It was very helpful to have the factory service manual. I got a page I printed out from the factory service manual, and shows me where they all go. And the way they're bent, they pretty much only go one way. So that makes it easier in a way. You do have to tweak the bends in these to get them to fit, and you have to be very careful when you thread these in. Thread these in by hand. They should thread in real easy with your 2 fingers. If you can't do that, that means something's wrong. Just keep repositioning it and tweaking the line until it screws in real easy. Then after you get them all hooked up, torque them all down, and when I raise this up and seal this, this is going to be well, difficult getting these all in here. It should be a plate actually that's missing that goes in the front, and I think it holds them all in place to make it easier during assembly. That plate is missing. I'll just have to work it out as I go along, and of course I'm going to have to put all sorts of gunk here when I seal that up to get that to seal up. I'm going to use Right Stuff 90-minute RTV, or I have a tube of that laying around. I might as well use it up before it goes bad. Now, following the lines all the way forward, I got to work those lines up into the frame and up to where the master cylinder is, and over to this line here, and it goes to the left front, and then couple it to the coupler for the right front. And that coupler is, what did I do with it? Oh, here. This coupler is actually aluminum, and you have to be careful not to, of course, not to cross thread it and all that stuff. And you want to see where they are. Here they are. These are the ones I took out of that coupler, and you can see how corroded they are. You know, metal and aluminum. It's never a good mix. You can see this one here was seized. I hammered it out a little bit. You can see how corroded that was inside there. And yeah, I did have to use heat, and once I used heat, these actually came off real easy. But I took a torch to them, and since I had them in the vise, I took a torch to them instead of the heat gun, and that worked real well. They came out, once I did that, they came out real easy. So let me get on with what I'm doing. I guess I'll try and fish those lines up over here to the master cylinder and all that good stuff. I was going to consider doing that first and then hooking it to the master, or to the ABS unit, and I just don't like, I probably would have ended up having to lay under the car and hook them up all under there. It would have been very difficult, especially someone like me who doesn't like lying underneath a car. It's just difficult to work. Anybody that's done that knows that. So anyway, my air compressor is going, if you can probably hear that. But let me start snaking this stuff up and getting it up in there. Okay, here's the line that crosses over to the from the driver's side to the passenger side, and this will be, of course, the new line. I actually started to remove one bolt from that cross brace on the other side, and I decided to try and slide this out, and it slid out pretty easily. I did have to do some bending, and I'm pretty certain I can get the new one in with just a little bit of bending and I got to transfer those clips to there. I did go ahead and hit these all these clips that run under the frame rail and along the frame rail that hold the lines in place. I went and hit them with rust reformer, and I also went underneath the car and hit that metal strip that they bolt to with rust reformer. The bad thing about that is it's right up against the fiberglass floor, and there's no way I can get to the other side where it's probably even more corroded. So there's nothing I can do about that. I do have the driver's side on. I have the lines hooked up to the master cylinder. I am going to be taking them off to bench the master cylinder off to bench bleed it, but for now having them in place is going to help me get the lines all in place with the clips. So the ABS unit, let me get some light over here. It still needs to go up in, but it's underneath where it needs to go, and then I need to get all the goop in and all that stuff. And then I need to do something with that line right there that crosses over to the other side. That'll be the last one I do. For now, I'm just going to get that line over to the other side and hooked up, and then I will I think call it a day and then try and finish this up tomorrow or Sunday. But one thing I wish I did was when I was dragging all those lines under there, the open-ended lines were getting dirt and stuff on them, so I did have to blow them off with brake clean. What I wish, if I was going to do it again, I would probably cut fingers off a clean rubber glove and slide them over the ends, put a rubber band around them or something to keep them from getting dirt and stuff in there. That's something to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is if you have someone to help you slide all these lines and position them, it'll make your life a lot easier. So it's one of those jobs where you want one person to hang around just to do that. My battery's about to get dead, so let me switch that and then we'll get on with this. Okay, I got the line all the way hooked up and across, and I got that coupler hooked up. I almost cross-threaded this, so I had to back it back out and re-thread it. Tomorrow, I'm just going to stop here, and then I'll get all these lines up there with the clips and the ABS unit up and all that good stuff. I'll do that tomorrow. I'm going to call it quits for today. Still quite a few hours left in the day. I could finish it up if I wanted to, but I think the smart thing is to take a break. But the line is hooked up to the passenger side caliper. That brake line is hooked up to the hose, and basically I got to put these clips up onto the frame rail, get that cross brace back up, get all these lines in position, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to end it here, and I want everybody to have a great day, and God bless.